This is the imaginary numbers, or the set of complex numbers, what we call them in math. This is the sixth dimension of infinity of number. Here what we see in the picture is, it looks like the living cosmos of intergalactic space with the stars, but it's just made of these numbers in the right patterns. Here we see e to the I pi plus 1 equals 0. For many of you who don't understand these symbols, don't worry about it. You don't have to understand it. For those who do understand it, and for the ones who don't, let me just give you the sense that this equation is just so magnificent in its symmetry and elegance. Taking these terms that have thought to be completely unseparated. Take your father, that rug, and the sun, and mix them in this perfect harmony, and they'll equal -1. It's incredible and impossible, and yet perfectly true. And that's part of what this card is trying to remind you. You have access to the great mysteries and how they are unfolded together in perfect symmetry and elegance. When your mind looks at it and says, I don't understand, that's because the part that doesn't understand is not the part you need to understand this part of your life. It's the time to realize you do understand very complicated things. You just don't know how to express them into the terms. But you have a gift for bringing your imaginary, complex, complicated worlds forward into this world with elegance and symmetry through your gifts you were given. This we see the very definition of the imaginary number is the square root of -1. Now, there is no real number that's the square root of -1. We say, this imaginary number, it's not real. Well, this one's so fun because in mathematics, yeah, it's not a real number. It's imaginary. But yet the discipline of how these imaginary numbers work together were worked out before we discovered electricity. But now we know you cannot describe how electricity moves through circuits without utilizing these imaginary numbers. So even though we don't call them real, in order to understand real-world phenomenon of electricity and that sort of thing, you have to have them. This is trying to help people know that the imagination is so critical to understand this complicated and new things that are coming. And we can no longer say, that's not real, that's just your imagination. Yeah, thank goodness it's your imagination. That's how you're going to understand everything wonderful that's coming for you.